one of the top questions I get is, can I go to bed with wet hair? No, actually. Can we pick another topic? Because I don't agree with you on this one at all. So here's the reason. This is the best analogy that I can think of, because I feel like we could all agree on how this would work. Let's say you're gonna do a little laundry and instead you're like, I'm just gonna put it in the wash, but for the dryer, we don't do that. We're just gonna throw it in a pile on the ground and let it dry that way. You would never do that. Why would you never do that? Because of a few reasons. Number one, would it even be dry in like 5 hours, 8 hours? Probably not. Maybe the things on top would, but the things on bottom would still be a little bit wet. Number two, would it be fluffy? Absolutely not. You'd go to pull that shirt out and it'd be like really crunchy, doesn't feel great. And number three, let's be honest, would there be some mildew? Yes. Not every single time, maybe, but I'm telling you, most of the time, of course it would smell a little funky. Your scalp is no different. Doesn't that kind of gross you out? Yeah, grosses me out too. So this is an extreme situation because we're trying to grow hair out of our heads. So of course we want to give the best chance to do that. So let's relate it to hair. The fact that it wouldn't dry after a few hours or even 8 hours when you're sleeping, that's a long time. And what does your scalp do when it has a lot of moisture trapped for a long period of time? It overproduces oils. Aren't we trying to get rid of an oily scalp? That's a vicious cycle that you're perpetuating. Number two, we want to go longer in between washes. So if we let it dry while we're sleeping in this manner, then it's going to be stuck to our head or funky and not going to be fluffy. So you're going to have to rewash your hair sooner, because if it was a little bit crunchy stuck to your head, then you're going to be rewashing your hair sooner because it's not fluffy. There's no air getting to your scalp. Number three, the mildew. Let me tell you, have you ever smelt your teenager if they go to bed with wet hair all the time? Try it. It probably stinks, right? You're like, did you even wash your hair? Yeah, there's no difference between you and them. So do not recommend to sleep with wet hair. Our scalp, we're already doing a lot of scalp care in general. We want it to grow. We don't want to have dandruff. We don't want it to be oily. We can't go to bed with wet hair. So think of it this way. You also can still be low maintenance and not go to bed with wet hair. I have been in lots of different seasons where I have not had time to wash my hair. I have 3 kids. I have had plenty of jobs. I own my own business. I can relate. You still have to dry your hair. So instead, wash your hair about an hour before you need to go to bed. Go walk around, do your thing, let it air dry about 50%, because then if that's what you have left, then you can use a hair dryer, preferably a brush. If you need a recommendation, it'll be in the description. But blow dry close to your scalp. Make sure everything close to your scalp is really dry so that it can breathe while you're sleeping. I think when we think of blow drying, we think wet to dry, and that takes forever. It does. But if you let your hair air dry 50 to 75% and then just make sure that your scalp is super dry with a brush blow drying, then that's all you need to do, and it takes way less time. And if you've been doing this for a good amount of time and feel like you have some reversing to do, then I would highly recommend using the Unite Weekender. I use this weekly anyway, just because I love what it does for my scalp. It's a gentle clarifying shampoo. So many clarifying shampoos are really harsh on your hair, harsh on your scalp. They feel good in the moment. You're like, wow, that really got me clean, but it's harsh. It's like cleaning with Clorox versus like an all natural. Like they both get the job done, but once you make the switch and you're like, oh, I have the same result or better with something that's cleaner and more gentle, I'm gonna keep doing that. If you've been around at all over the last few years, you know that I have never stopped recommending this. I've tried many kinds out there, and my hair either gets used to it, it sometimes does the opposite, or because I'm so blonde, it makes my hair brittle, and I can't afford that. I'm not in that business. So if you want another video on scalp care, go back a few videos. I recently did one where I talked about scalp brushing, using a clarifying shampoo, using a scalp oil. That's a separate video. However, if you are in scalp rehab because of some of these habits that you've been doing, then this is a great place to start, and I would still check out that video. So no two scalps are the same. If you have more questions about your specific scenario, then please comment below. That's my favorite thing, is to respond to comments and actually be helping people. So give me your specific scenarios. You can also follow me on Instagram, go to my blog, jess.halleck or jesshalleck.com, and I have lots of information on hair care and everything. But this is one of those big no-nos that I don't feel like we talk about enough, but we can all relate to once you start to make the correlation of laundry and your scalp. It just works. And at the end of the day, you want your scalp to be healthy so your hair can grow. You aren't developing any dandruff or over oil production. I want what's best for you. So Keep me posted how it goes. Put in the comments any more video ideas or things that you'd like answered, and I'd love to help.